So back onto the catching up with everything I missed on TCM. I watched 3 films, um, 2 of which I didn't really like and probably could have skipped, and one that I really loved. So the first one was To Sir with Love, which is stars Sidney Poitier. It's from 1967, and it's directed, produced, and written by James Clavell, most famous for Shogun. 67 obviously is the year that everything changed in Hollywood. It's that big year that they always talk about where the production code just was gone, and 67 is the year that rocks everything to its core, and was a huge year for Poitier. He had this film, he had Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and he had Best Picture winner In the Heat of the Night. So I finally watched this film. It's based on an autobiographical novel by E.R. Braithwaite. I'm hoping the novel is less saccharine and less rooted in some sort of crazy fantasy, because the way this film presents this story and the actions of this teacher to reach these students is not in reality, as far as I can tell. It is the least true to how teenagers really are film I maybe have ever seen. And that includes all of those really cheesy teen films from the 60s. I don't know what was happening in this movie, but it didn't make any sense to me. I just thought it was terrible. It's got a lot of really problematic elements, and honestly, it reminded me a lot of Beatwise of Sister Act 2, but Sister Act 2 is a much better film. Although if you looked at Rotten Tomatoes and their scores, you wouldn't know that. Basically, I'm saying watch Sister Act 2. You get some music, you get Lauryn Hill. It's a much better film. It is a great performance from Poitier, however. Really bad film, really great Poitier. It's really hard to go wrong with Poitier. The next film I watched is the one that I loved, and probably could have been the only film I watched, and it would have been great. This was 1973's Cleopatra Jones. It's directed by Jack Starrett, and starred the lovely Tamara Dobson as Cleopatra Jones. Also featured Bernie Casey in a great supporting role, Antonio Fargas also in a great supporting role, and Shelley Winters chewing literally all the scenery. So Cleopatra Jones is an undercover special agent. She is very committed to her neighborhood and her boyfriend, and his calling is to run a halfway house for recovering drug addicts. And so she's undercover trying to shut down drug rings. Her boyfriend is trying to help recovering drug addicts get back on their feet. So it's all sort of circular. The villain in the film is an evil lesbian drug lord named Mommy. Yes, played by the one, the only Shelley Winters in several very amazing red wigs. She has an army of men that do her bidding and an army of women who do other things for her. She's a really bad cliche of a butch lesbian, and it's terrible. But contrasted to that, Cleopatra Jones is a great, multifaceted woman, and it's sort of strange how they can have such a great feminist character and such a bad homophobic cliche, all wrapped in one film. I don't know, but I haven't actually seen very many of these films from the blaxploitation era, so I still need to see all of the ones starring oh my god, Jackie Brown, Pam Grier. So I need to watch Kofi and all of those. I haven't gotten there yet. I recommend this if you enjoy that sort of 70s comedic crime film. I think you'll like this film. The comedy in this is perfect. I really enjoyed watching this film, and I enjoyed seeing some of these characters that I saw in later films. Several people in this film show up in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, which is a really great early Wayans Brothers film. So I recommend this one. This was a TCM Underground pick, I think, and like it was good. I enjoyed it. Um, the next film I watched, I feel like I should watch Barbara Streisand movies because I love Barbara Streisand in theory, and I love her in Funny Face, but I haven't seen very many of her films. And I used to have this DVD or this VHS tape. I think it was for Moonstruck. That was I think it was for Moonstruck, but it had a commercial on it, like a trailer or whatever, for a Barbara Streisand collection of VHS tapes, and it was like all of her films. And oh no, you know what? I think it was the While You Were Sleeping tape, actually, which makes sense because Columbia. But I can still hear the guy talking, like announcing the titles. You know, I can hear the guy saying The Way We Were and For Pete's Sake and The Owl and the Pussycat and all of that. And the only one of the films on that set that I ever managed to watch was The Way We Were. And there was this, like, I remember I used to watch this with my brother, so it must have been While You Were Sleeping because he had a big crush on Sandra Bullock in that. But we both saw that scene where, in The Way We Were, where she goes, you'll never find anybody as good as, or who loves you as much as me, or whatever it is she says. And he goes, I know that. And then she goes, well, then why? And then it cuts to something else. And for years, we were like, why? You know, we were like, it was like a cliffhanger. And then we finally watched the movie, and we were both disappointed because the next scene doesn't really answer the question, which the whole point of the movie is that it doesn't answer the question. But that's a different movie. That's The Way We Were. This is For Pete's Sake. It's from 1974. It's directed by Peter Yates. Peter Yates, and it stars Barbara Streisand and Michael Sarrazin. You'll remember Michael Sarrazin from The Far Superior. They shoot horses, don't they? This movie is trying to use that same screwball energy from What's Up, Doc, but it is a far inferior film. They are Henrietta and Pete. Pete is a cab driver. Henrietta does something. She sells things from the phone. Yet somehow, even though they're supposed to be poor, they have a house cleaner that comes in like every day, which is strange. And she tries to make sort of racial commentary, but it comes across now very cringeworthy. I think it's supposed to be satirical, but it's really cringeworthy now. There was one really bad homophobic joke in this also that I was like, oh. And basically, Henry, as she's called, is told hears that from her husband that they pork belly futures are going to go through the roof because of the Russians, and they need $3,000, and so she tries various ways to get the $3,000, eventually landing on a loan shark. And then when she can't pay it back right away, her contract gets sold to varying other shady enterprises. Every time someone else buys her contract, it goes up by $1,000, and she can't fulfill what she needs to do to get this contract voided. And then shenanigans ensue, including people who might be dead, cows, drug busts, many things. It's not a very good film. Apparently it was remade in India. So I kind of want to watch the Indian film and see if that's like funnier. Because it's just, this is, I think, a movie that only works if you're a Streisand completist, and I'm like a masochistic Streisand completist at this point in my life. So, really, only watch it if you love Streisand, because I love Streisand, and it was hard for me. So you have to like really love Streisand, I think, to enjoy this film. So that was, first film was To Sir With Love. I did not like it. The second film was Cleopatra Jones. I dug it. The third film was For Pete's Sake. I also didn't like it. That was my viewing for today. These were all on TCM, but they're all about to expire, so that's why I was watching them really fast. But I think they're on DVD as well, so you can find them, and maybe you'll enjoy them more than I did. Except for Cleopatra Jones. Everyone will enjoy Cleopatra Jones. That's a good film. Have a good night.